Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Techgig webinar series, our endeavor to empower techies. We believe that sharing of knowledge is the key to enhance our skills and grow us as professionals. With this principle in mind, we have initiated a series of webinars conducted by industry experts to give you all a crisp insight of various domains. The topic of today's session is Track Project Actual Against Project Baseline Information. This is the 8th session in the Microsoft Project 2010 series. This series is being conducted by our guest speaker, Mr. B. Sai Prasad, who is a Senior Manager Learning and Development in Cognizant Technology Solutions India Private Limited. So without further delay, I introduce you all to our guest speaker. Over to you, Mr. Sai.
Thank you, Mohini. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all participants. As we all know, this is the 8th session of the Project 2010 series, where we are going to look at how do we record actuals so that we can compare against the baseline to know the progress of the project. So just a quick recap, in the first 7 sessions we talked about how to set up the project, and we talked about how to change the working time. And in the 3rd session, we talked about how to create the work breakdown structure and how to set dependencies. The 4th session was about adding resource information in terms of people, material, and cost. In the 5th session, we talked about different options in terms of how to assign the resources, both people and material, and cost to your activities. In the 6th session, we talked about how to convert your draft schedule to an optimized schedule by making use of the resource optimization techniques. In the last session, we were talking about how do we do baselining with respect to Project 2010. So today we will be talking about how do you track project actuals so that we can compare it within your project baseline. So the key takeaways of this 1-hour webinar would be to understand what is the right strategy for updating your actuals. We will also talk about how do you update your task level actuals in terms of actual start, actual finish, and the remaining duration. At the assignment level, we will also look at how do you record your actual work, remaining work, and the actual start and the actual finish date. So before we get into these strategies and the options, I'm just going back to my project 2010. So this is a plan which we are going to use as a demo for this webinar. So as you can see, we have a set of activities, and these activities have been sequenced by making use of the predecessor column. We also have a set of resources assigned to these activities. So just a quick recap, in order to baseline this complete project, so I'm just going to go to the view ribbon where I will change my table from entry to baseline. You can see my current project plan is not yet baseline, so let me baseline it first before we move on to recording actuals. So the first step is to do a baseline, go to the project tab and just use this set baseline option. And make sure that you have selected the current baseline as baseline and it for the entire project. So the moment you do a baseline, you can see that baseline data is automatically set in terms of duration, start, finish, and work. Remember, baselining is very critical before you start recording your actuals. Now let me go back to my entry table. So one of the common ways by which people start recording actuals, so I'll give you a small demo for it. So I've seen people inserting a column called as a percent complete column, which you are able to see as the first field here. So what happens is when you try to record your percentage complete, project might behave in a totally different way. So let's take the example of an activity like develop the preliminary budget activity, row number 10. So when I say this activity is 100% complete, you are able to see this activity has been marked as completed, but you can see that this activity is happening on a future date. So let's assume that the current or the status date of your project is 27th, which means as on that date you are trying to record your actuals. So when you are trying to provide a percentage complete for an activity, irrespective of whether this is happening before the status date or after the status date, Microsoft project just assumes that I just need to record its percentage complete. Another opposite is if I go to the row number 8, conduct need analysis. and I say this activity is only 20% complete, which means the remaining 80% of the need analysis can ideally be pushed on or after the status date. So naturally, updating your percentage complete will not give you a clear progress. Secondly, when you are trying to record your percentage complete, you can see none of these activities have moved. The reason is it assumes that the activity are planned to be completed in the original estimates. So it might happen that the remaining duration of these activities might be more than the estimates. So I'm going to undo these changes what I have done first. So let's go back to these slides and talk about the strategies first. Remember, there are two